Awesome. Okay, so I am so excited. I have been waiting for this interview for such a long time since I learned about this amazing program. Let me just share this in our group. We have one more place to share, and then we will get this party started. Many people have been waiting and anticipating this moment and this interview, so I am super excited to introduce Miss Hayley Melidonis to the Beauty and Wellness Referral Network. We now have our own travel program, and I am so excited. So,
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. And I'm super excited to be here, Callie. You are a bundle of amazing energy, and I love Canadians. So I don't know how many of them are Canadians, but I almost moved to Canada, but I couldn't get a visa, so I had to come to the US. So I just want to share that. I've been to Canada a lot. Love your country.
awesome. Well, what I'm going to do is if you want to start out and share a little bit about your background and how you came to come up with the concept of Bubbl, and then I'm going to make you co-host because I have a number of people that have been waiting to see this information that is super, super excited. I know you've gotten the opportunity to meet some of our partners when it comes to our events
Yep.
and the things that we're going to be planning around the globe, but
Yes.
let's give an introduction to who you are, your background, and how you came up with this idea.
Amazing. So I'll try to keep it short and sweet. So yeah, my name's Haley. I'm an Aussie. And there were like it was five or six different, I think, inputs to me really, building Bubble and what came of it. So a solo female traveler for years. I ran a heli ski travel company for years actually, and that was my first company. And that was all about helping people like get inspired to do a bucket list trip they'd always wanted and just like take the plunge. There's a lot of that in Bubble because Bubble's about like if you want to, it's about two things. It's about personal growth and it's about connecting with others. And as everyone knows, if you want to learn or get better at something, you go and hang out with people who are better than you, or you go and hang out with people who are into it too, right? So it's that kind of like getting me over the hump. So that was the heli ski business. I worked at Uber and I had a corporate career in like, in fact, I worked at, it's so funny, I worked at Intel for 7 years. I worked at Nokia in a global media team. I've worked in Europe and here and even Japan. And so, but I was at that time, I'm a huge skier. This is actually where it came from. So I'm a very big skier. I've had 7 knee surgeries to actually eight now to prove it, which is sad, really. And one of the things I would do with skiing was I would go up to Lake Tahoe. When I went to Lake Tahoe, they have these things called shared ski houses. They're called ski leases for anyone who is familiar. It's a very cool concept. 20 people pile in, share costs, and get a house, but it has to have someone organize it. And I fell into that role accidentally, and then I fell into doing it accidentally for another 6 years before I finally thought of the idea of Bubble. In 2012, I moved from London to here. So I went Sydney, London, London here. I was there for 7 years. And I came to the US to build something really meaningful, right? Like I knew I should build a company here.
Right.
Didn't know what it would be. And then one day I was listening, and your ladies will recognize this because you know how Sarah Blakely, she's the founder of Spanx.
Yes, I love her.
So I was listening to a podcast she was being interviewed on. Like I was actually really down. It was after it was like 2021 COVID, everyone was down, right? And I was still running my ski houses during COVID, right? And by the way, in those ski houses I saw that people could afford hotels. This is your clientele. People could afford beauty treatments, people who can afford wellness, they could afford hotels. They did not want to be in the hotel. They wanted to be in the community houses with the hot tubbing and the fun dinners and all everything goes with it. But it was a shit show for me to organize. It was like seven different tools from Dropbox to WhatsApp to email. It was horrible. So anyway, but fast forward, I was listening to, so I was depressed. I was at Intel. I had no idea about Bubble. And I was doing there's icky guy where you're like, you're trying to work out what suits you. I was looking at other jobs, not feeling excited. I'm sure some people in your group have felt this way and changed careers. And then she gets on his podcast. I was driving to my ski house in a snowstorm on my own. Very, very eerie, snowstorm. 10 o'clock at night, by the way, I should mention. Like, probably shouldn't be driving solo female in a snowstorm to Lake Tahoe. But anyway, I was.
Right.
And she said something, and my neurons fired. And she's like, if you've got an idea, you should just do it. Boom. Oh, could it be the ski lease idea? I rang my husband straight away. I said, I've got the idea. This is what I'm going to do. Like, it was like a moment of light bulb moment. He said, what are you going to call it? I said, I don't know. And the next morning I woke up and I said, it's called Bubble.
Yeah. And I love that because, And
I guess so.
I can totally relate to this because that's the whole reason why I came up with the Beauty Referral Network. Number one, I was dealing with a severe spinal injury. I lost my salon during COVID and I was
Oh,
unable to be able to afford my own treatments. So I came up with a concept similar to Bubbl where people can actually invite their favorite salons or massage therapists or whatever to join our platform and then they can send them clients and they can pay for their wellness treatments. So that's how the whole concept started.
I love, well, by the way, after this, I'm going to go get my eyelashes done in San Francisco. Right after this, I've got an appointment. So I will refer them to your network.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, I really love the concept because the whole purpose around this is collaboration and everybody co-creating together. This is about how can we all come together as a community as founders of our programs, and China's watching. China, shout out. And all of us with our ideas, our concepts and our tech come together for one common purpose to make
Yes.
life fun, to bring
Yep.
the community together, collaboration over competition, and
Yep.
allow everybody to shine where they want to be. Like if some people may be interested in travel, some people may be interested in creating a retreat and bringing this to our platform. And I want to also talk further about you on how we can actually send people on retreats and create leadership within my community as well, but be able to send them to Greece for like a week and everybody's talking strategy and really cool ideas that I have that I'd love to explore further with you. But let's take a dive into Bubbl and
Mhm.
share with everybody what this is that I've been talking about and been waiting to announce. Let's give them an overview of the website and show them a little bit about the program.
Okay, so look, in 6 words, and I had to I'm like, how do you describe bubble in 6 words? In 6 words, it is where your stay becomes your community.
I love it.
So so where your stay becomes your community. So taking like what I learned in the ski houses, and by the way, that 8 years of doing them ski houses, like every time someone asks me something that someone might have a doubt, I'm like, nah, I know how it works because I did it for 8 years. And there's something to be said for having that operational experience, and I want to now share that experience with everyone else, like because I've systemized it. So that's the first thing. So helping people who are creators of experiences share those experiences with their community in by this thing. So we're inventing a category called the co-stay, and I will share my screen in a sec. The co-stay. So okay, Uber invented rideshare. Rideshare is the technical term for what Uber is. Rideshare meaning the driver's sharing his car, I guess, or her car. Airbnb invented short-term rental. I'm sure you've all heard of short-term rental.
Right.
Even though Verbo was there before them. Bubbl is inventing the co-stay. We're not inventing it. It's an old idea. People going and traveling and staying in houses together. I mean, everyone's been renting Airbnbs forever. The new bit we're kind of inventing is the ability for you to go and join others you don't know safely. And 9 out of 10 people are signing up to our platform because they want to meet others. Fun fact, I met my husband Drew in a Bubbl.
No way.
Yeah. Well, it was a share house. So it was pre-Bubbl, but I met him in a share summer house in the kitchen, right, in my pajamas. And he was cooking bacon. And so, like, it was really authentic way to meet people. And, I'm not suggesting we're a dating site or anything like that, you know, like it was a very authentic way to meet. So Bubbl's about creating this amazing co-stay and a co-stay experience, through with people you don't know. If you've done ski leases for years, you understand it. And especially when it's like people think it's youth hostels. It's not. It's not a budget product at all. In fact, these were $5 million houses that people were sharing. Okay. And for you, it'd be a villa in Greece. Like, you can actually just Bubbl, you can travel so amazingly on Bubbl because everyone's splitting the cost and it's overall cheaper than the equivalent standard hotel.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna
But
plan my wedding on Bubbl.
yeah, well, actually, wedding. Okay, so there's an interesting thing here. So, what's going to happen with Bubbl, and some of your people might be interested in doing this, there's going to be a whole gig economy. So, whilst we're stitching it all together and making it easy, there's still people who don't want to organize their own shit, right? Especially, really busy people. You might even have clients that, like, your clients may have clients, right, who are very busy. So, there's going to be a gig economy around weddings. I contacted a bunch of wedding planners, and, they were like, oh, we're really busy. And same with event organizers, too. They're a bit busy, right? But
Right.
here's where I think it's going, right? So everyone's busy, like event planners. What do? They outsource everything. They outsource the cake. They outsource the makeup. They outsource the photography and all that. So there's no reason they're not going to outsource the housing to a Bubbl housing coordinator there's going to be a bubble person who's going to create a business in their local town around housing the weddings, contacting all the venues and all the wedding planners and saying, especially the wedding planners, and saying, okay, you've got extra people because not everyone wants to stay at the hotel. We'll set you up with a bubble village for your wedding. And then you can, or like, a set of bubbles for your wedding. And then more people can be created. So the people who've got money or the people that don't like each other or whatever it is,
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
set them up. They can all pay for their room individually. And that's what you can do in Bubble. So first and foremost, Bubble is this platform that helps you find, book, and organize what we call co-stays. What is a co-stay? And let me just share my screen. A co-stay is hang on, I just have to, a co-stay is a, oops, sorry, I have to move that thing. Okay. I'll just, whoops, sorry. Can you guys see me? My screen?
I really love this idea. I was talking with a new event coordinator that's going to be coming to the table about coordinating and putting all of our events through Bubble because,
Yep,
there's people that are going to be flying in from out of town, different speakers, different things like that.
absolutely.
We can also book the actual conference rooms through Bubble, right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Oh,
so the world is your bubble. So what we sell is, your stay becomes your community. We make this easy for organizers and we make this easy for travelers. Up until now, there's been no platform whereby you could basically have like a housing offering with houses and or hotels. And we have both. And a bubble works. So a bubble has a before, during, and after. It starts with a listing. So this is just our homepage. You can download it on you can download our, so we're in our beta right now. We're building the next version of our app, but our app's available in both stores. As of fairly recently, we trademarked it, and our trademark came through when we did that. This is kind of who Bubble's for. We've already got over 200 events on our platform, but we're also adding like any events on our platform. Like we're adding lots of events. We've got this whole category around personal growth and wellness. So anyone who is coming into through your network, and personal growth and wellness and beauty, I mean that's kind of in the same area. That's where that category where it lives. So they could sort and find bubbles or be fed bubbles of interest to them through these categories when they sign up. So when we sign up, we learn a little bit about you so we can serve you like the best bubbles. We have two sides to the website. One is the event side. And any of you, like your event, Callie, you would get an event microsite, and in that event microsite, you would have your bubbles. We've actually done a lot of bubbles here already, and some of these these are website. Some of these are events where we don't even have bubbles yet, and some of them are like this one. This is an event we did last year. I don't think it shows because we had last year's bubbles, so we don't have
oh,
any bubbles there 'cause we did last year. But for example, right now we're working on Art Basel. If you have any of your people who want to either go to Art Basel in Miami or
wow.
who want to run an event or a side event or bring their brand to Art Basel, they could be in contact with us because we're coordinating basically the world's first bubble village for Art Basel.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and a bubble village is like basically an event, but it's a village. It's basically the housing village underneath the event. We're actually creating software just for to support that experience. I could give you a little sneak peek. I'm sure your people aren't gonna like share it with everyone. This is kind of the idea of the village. Actually, this is a little bit old. This is a mock-up. This is really like really mocky. It's not done.
Right.
But the idea is that, different brands and different like side event producers could produce, they might bring their people and have a hotel bubble. These guys might have like a house bubble. And these are the sorts of people going. So in a bubble, you've got the people, the experience, and the stay. The
Mm,
stay is the location of the house. The experience would be Art Basel, or it could be some of like the side events, the things that the people are going to be doing. So, for
yeah.
example, the village program might have this, but when you click into this particular bubble, they may be doing their own dinner one night, or they may be all going to one party, or maybe they're sharing rides to and from the airport or something.
Right.
So that's all. So a bubble has chat, it has a bulletin board with all the official things like Wi-Fi code and door code and things and address, of course. It has the ability to book your room, an individual room, and I think we've got a listing up here. Wait, let me find you. Yeah, here's a sample. This is again a new design. It's not actually finalized, but the idea is that, so this is one of the bubble, one of the house level bubbles. Here's the people going. And you can go and look at their user profiles and see their ratings. We actually have some settings where you can actually set up a bubble. For example, there's two fields in particular. There's a solo female traveler field. And that means that everyone in this bubble is going to travel this way. So if you're not a
Right.
female traveler, you really won't probably be accepted by your leader. The leader here is this lady, Elise. This is a fake bubble, by the way. And then this is the villa and where it is and how far it is from, I think this is the Cannes Film Festival. These are the rooms. Oh, no, sorry. This is the house that she's chosen. And then these are the rooms. And this is the
Cool.
one that's left. Only the bunk room's left, which is a shame because I liked this room. But you know
Hmm.
what? Snooze, you lose. First in, best dressed.
Right.
Um, so you can buy it by room or bed. We ID screen people that are staying in these shared houses. We make that, confirmed. And the other thing is like this is a fun thing here, but we're actually going to be showing comparable hotel prices. So do you want to stay in a lonely hotel room? Or do you want to stay in Callie's bubble? So for big events where it's like people are just finding accommodation, but when Callie's running her own retreat, obviously people aren't going to be looking at staying in a hotel. Be looking at staying in Callie's bubble. And
Right.
when they buy in Callie's bubble, Callie can get a little commission from that if they're buying like, because they're buying in her group. Callie's adding the curation. Callie can sell tickets to whatever she wants. If you have a dinner and it's a shared dinner and you even want to put the price in after, you can add that and everyone can pay you back for the dinner through the bubble platform later on
Right.
or beforehand.
That's
So
very
there's like
cool.
ways, yeah, there's ways to collect money so you don't have to like have it sort of, but you can also use Venmo if you want as well. You don't have to use our platform, but you can do it, particularly if there's certain things that you want to upsell or strain. Like, say if you have an affiliate link for ticket sales for something, right? You can put your link in as a thing for them to buy that link,
For
if
like
that
a
makes sense.
concert or an event or,
Well, you'd go off platform, but you'd provide the link for them to buy it.
right, yeah. And I've been talking to a few people about this. Number one, I have a friend that just opened up a wellness retreat in Panama that he's looking to add to Bubbl as well to create and curate some
Yep.
experiences. And so for anybody that's watching this as a retreat leader, do you have any words of wisdom on how they could use Bubbl as the tool to help create and curate their wellness retreats?
100%. So I'm going to show you what our software does. And the reason I created this software, I created it exactly how I ran ski houses for 8 years. And I ran heli ski trips for 10 years. So I'm someone who is a classic, I'm a natural leader. I'm a
Yes,
curator. I'm a connector.
same.
You are too, obviously. And I'm someone who I want to impart my knowledge now and having run my houses for 6 years. So the first thing, and I'm going to go, actually, it's funny, it's a slide in my pitch deck. Oh, wait, this is the other deck. This is the partner deck, which I'll show in a sec. The pitch deck has the slide, which actually describes this the best. Um, what people really want when they're booking into one of these things, what my people in my ski house wanted, they wanted to know what was going on. They wanted to feel like they belonged and they knew what was going on. They wanted to understand what room they had booked, who was going to be there on the weekend, what they could bring up, how much was a guest fee, was there any availability next Thursday afternoon? Should we have? They also wanted to plan, like they wanted to be able to like see, like, okay, does anyone want to do a potluck dinner on Saturday night? If so, what are you bringing? What are you bringing? Yada yada. Just little things like that. They wanted to have easy access to like organize plan in the case of this because these are short term kind of like these will be like a lot of our bubbles are like, oh, I'm going to Coachella, I'm going to stay in a house for 5 days with people I don't know, or I'm going to bring my friend and us two are going to stay in a house with 8 other people. And so they want to see who they're going to go with. So this is about the clarity and the trust. So we built the platform with all the tools that needs to give these people what we call clarity, trust, and sense of belonging. I don't want to feel like an idiot because I don't know what the Wi-Fi code is. So now there's a way if you can see the Wi-Fi code. It's in the Bubbl Hub in the bulletin board. It's right there. It's right there at the top of the thing and it's showing to you. So there's a lot of like time saving for the traveler and also the leader. So the leader, how the bubble kind of works, through the software, it facilitates process whereby the leader, so say if you've got 30 people in your bubble, in the old days, you might have to do something 30 times. But
Right.
in the new days with Bubble, and this is how I designed it, each person does something once and you set it up for them to do it once and you do it once, right? Not 30 times. And for certain things, there was certain things that I had to do 30 times if I was going to do it a certain way. And so, the chat's native inside, which is super important. You can create side chats, like say if there's two organizers and they want to chat about something, you can do that. You can drop links in there. You can do preferences screening. Say if you want to know about food allergies or room preferences or t-shirt size, or maybe you're screening someone because you don't, you're screening out in or out people. There's a questionnaire you can ask and you can see all the answers and compare them. You can run a competition, win a spot on my bubble, on my retreat to get lead gen if you want to get that, if you want to do that. You can have all the room pricing very transparent. People can book their room and pick the room they want to have. We're offering hotels very soon. So this experience works across hotels and houses. So that takes the and one of the ways I think I was showing you before with our forming and confirm bubbles is that like you can actually set up a bubble. understand, with certain parameters going, it's going to cost about this much, it's going to be about this type of thing. And here's an example of like what it could look like. But I'm going to book it once I have all the people interested. You can collect the deposit if you want to. And then once you've got the people interested, you can go book it. We recommend booking any house or whatever within a cancelable time frame to collect the money, then we pay you back. If
Awesome.
the, if you're doing that, and why you might want to do that, because particularly if people, meet on Facebook, no one wants to pay anyone any money over Facebook or
Yeah,
anything like that.
exactly. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
love this. I mean, a lot of our retreat leaders and wellness people, as an example, already have a group of people that would want to participate in their retreats and things like that. So I'm really excited to have this as our main event coordination system. Um,
Yeah.
and if we had people that wanted to add their properties, or like I have a few boat parties that I would like to introduce so we could create
Oh,
bubbles
I'd
with
love
them.
to talk to the boat parties. So, depending on where they are and what they're doing. So, what we're going to do with properties right now, the answer today is create a bubble. So, go to our platform. Hang on. The today answer is different to the tomorrow answer, just because we're, evolving our platform. So today, what you would do is once you sign in, actually, you know what? That did just sign me in. Okay. See how it says create a bubble? You
Yes.
can create a bubble with your property and add it today. And you just think of an event or just put in a date of just any date and just create the bubble. Because what that does is inputs your property onto the system.
Okay.
Okay. So you go in here, you would pick the basic, you would pick detailed because the detailed is really when you have a property in mind. Okay. You pick detailed bubble and then you start bubbling. And at the moment, you can, watch the till tips. But basically, you're just filling in the different prices of the bubble. I
Got
mean,
it.
sorry, different pieces. Okay. If you actually want a bubble relating to a specific event that we have in our platform, so be it. But today, you would just put it in there. And then, depending on where, so we're going to be partnering with a channel manager. So if you've got a house or a property, it's probably on Airbnb, or it might be going through what's called a channel manager. We're probably going to work with Guesty. Guesty are they're a thing to they make sure that the house isn't booked like at the same time on Airbnb and Verbo. Just say if someone booked the same day, they
Yeah.
make sure it's double booked. So usually people use these platforms. So not everyone does, but we'll probably be doing it through a Guesty so that we can actually facilitate bringing properties onto our platform. But for now, you could just set it up, and then depending on the event and what's going on, you can work with me to market it. You can tell me where the property
Okay.
is, and we're still small, so I can't guarantee we can sell you a property, but if we
Right.
can, we definitely will.
Yeah, my buddy, he's actually watching from Panama right now
Oh,
because
Panama.
he sent
Also,
me the link for his new property that he just is opening up. So it's
oh,
actually beautiful. I sent you a
oh,
link to it as
well,
well.
so I'll tell you what we are doing. I'll tell you what I am going to add to my platform. Um, I'm going to add a series of, so we have four categories. So again, what's on the platform today, what you see is different to what is going to be there tomorrow. But we have these four categories. There's going to be bubble. I think it goes bubble something or other. Bubble plus, isn't that classic? Premium and Luxe. Luxe is $500 or more per night per person. And a lot of retreats will fall into that category probably. That's just the different prices. And by the way, with a bubble, you can actually put the housing separate to the ticketing, or you can put it
Hmm,
all in one. It's up
got
to
it.
you. Okay, so
And
you can add a bit. In fact, I'll just show you on the accommodation because you can a number of rooms to stay. You can put the link if you like. I wouldn't put the link because that will show the price. You can add a bed. See here?
yeah,
So you can add a bit, but you can also add an item. So you can add a dinner, you can add a ticket to whatever, you can add anything. Okay, this is where you might put a link to ticketing elsewhere. You can add a screener questionnaire. I mean, and then you can add things to the bulletin board. You can add links. If you and you can add a Google photo album or whatever if you want everyone to share the photos to that photo album afterwards. And then in the dashboard, people will see in their Bubble Hub, they will see that link. Oh, hey, this is where and you can call it the photo album, the team photo album. I'm actually going to probably put default links in the platform anyway for Apple and Google, just because that way the organizer can say, hey, let's all put our photos here. Does that
right.
make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Um,
So one
yeah.
other question I think many people may ask is travel is the flights separate for for this?
At the moment, yes. But we're going to be bringing in a flight solution. It'll probably be, actually, I haven't worked out how we're going to do flights. Actually, you know what? The partner that's giving us the hotels, they might actually have flights.
Right.
Um, Flights we don't have right now. But like I said, it's not going to be a hard thing for us to do it. We just like crawl, walk, run. We just want to make sure we nail housing because housing is really, really important.
Right. And that's
Yeah.
what I love about you is, we think alike when it comes to the evolution of our platforms, that it's never going to be stagnant. There's always
Yeah.
something new and exciting happening. And I
Yeah.
wanted to say thank you.
Actually, just before you do that, can I just tell you one more really important feature about Bubble, about calendar?
Sure.
Okay, so learning from running my ski houses, the calendar is really important. At least in our ski houses was for the rooms, right? There's 4 layers to our calendar that every bubble, no matter what kind of bubble it is, can use. You don't have to use all 4 layers, but here's what they are. There's the arrival departure layer. So everyone, remember I told you about everyone doing something once? Everyone will be able to put in their arrival and departure time in their as in a calendar entry in the calendar. Later on, we'll probably connect it with Tripit and things, but not right now. We don't have that. Now, that way you can guys can coordinate you can coordinate rides to and from the airport. Or it could be that Callie says, "Hey, the window of pickup is 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. You've got to arrive then. Put your arrival details in." Okay, so that's the first thing. Everyone can add their bit. The number second one is rooming layouts, like who's got what room, when, who's checking in, who's checking out, are two people sharing the thing for the week, whatever. The third one is the activities layer. Like, are we doing? So I went to Ibiza with my girlfriends, and we're like, okay, we're doing a cruise on the Wednesday, we're going to Patch on the Thursday, and there's this on the Friday, And so that was in there, and there were things we could buy. We could pay her for so she could also find out how many people were coming too. And then the fourth one is the work layer. And the work layer is important because no matter what it is, it might be a conference and you're required to speak or to go to a practice speak. Or maybe we're all getting a villa and there's a chef coming in or there's a cleaner coming on Thursday and everyone has to, be out of the way on Thursday because the cleaner's coming. Or maybe we're all going on a ski trip and, Callie's cooking Thursday night and, Hayley's cooking on Tuesday night. Right. So the calendar has in these 4 layers you can filter it and it makes it just super easy and coordinated and everyone know and then everyone's calendar shows their calendar what
Very
they're
cool.
doing and of course if you're having like a conference with sessions you can put the whole calendar in there and people can add those sessions.
Right. This will be really good for some of my friends that are like, network marketing leaders that are all going to the same conference and they want to stay in the same hotel or they want to do a
Absolutely.
leadership dinner, all
Well,
those
one
kind
of
of
them,
things.
yeah, they could set up. So by the time we're done, you're going to be able to set up your own bubble and pick. So right now you might order it through us because like I haven't plugged in the front end, but we've got this thing called the Bubble Wand. And the Bubble Wand will take your requirements and find you the best thing to bubble. Whether that be a hotel that's really close to the venue, whether that be a house that's got the right number of bathrooms to bedroom ratio and the right standard that you're looking for, that's the closest with the best cancellation policy. That's what we're going to be able to offer because we had a lot of people going, "Oh, I've already got my group, but can you get me like the best property?" I'm like, "Huh? Can't you get Airbnb?" And then we started our own selves looking for different properties, just ourselves on Airbnb and stuff. And it was kind of annoying and it took a long time. I was like,
Right.
shit, what if we could make this better? Because we effectively know what's needed for a bubble. We know where the venue is. We know we want, a ratio of bedrooms to bathrooms. Like, we don't want a property with one bathroom for 5 bedrooms,
Right.
like so we then formed our formula and now we call it our bubble wand. It's
Right.
internal for the moment, but people can order their bubbles through us and their bubble village through us today. And later on, we're going to make this available on the platform for people to use.
Awesome. Wow, this just is mind blowing. I'm so excited. I wanted to say also thank you so much for the opportunity to allow me to participate in Bubble. I think that with what it was that I was looking to accomplish with our travel program, by the way, this was made
Well,
3 years
you could
ago.
call, you could have, Callie, you can have your own, that partner site. I told you, you can call it that if you want. You can call it your lifestyle network.
Okay,
Like,
yeah, so
brand it.
we'll work on that. And I wanted to say, I'm just so excited. I think the sky's the limit here. This was actually the final piece of the puzzle that I was looking to achieve was the actual
Yep,
events
amazing.
and travel. So I'm really excited to be
Yeah.
working, founder to founder,
Yeah.
and locking
Female
all these
founder and a
together.
female founder.
Yes, female
Female.
founder to
Actually,
female
by the
founder.
way, I don't know how many are of your network are women, but actually, I was told yesterday at this event in Vegas, this lady used to work for Wells Fargo. She said, "Hayley, you should make sure that you get certified as women owned." I'm like, "Well, last time I looked, I had a vagina, so, but I guess it's going to be easy." Um,
I
that's
love
a joke.
this. I
But no, she said because enterprise customers have quotas in their supply chain that they have to give business to women founders, to women-owned businesses. And I went, "Oh." Oh, that's great. So she goes, go get certified. I'm like, okay, I'm sure it's more than proving you've got a vagina, but it's got to be some other things. But like, go do that. All the other women, go do that. Because I
Right.
don't know if you're
Yeah.
surprised,
No, I
but
love
that's
this.
what
I mean, some of my biggest supporters have been watching this call. Shout out to Mr. Robert Hollis. This would be perfect for your team
that's a man.
traveling to
No offense to men.
conferences.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so I mean, I can think of a list of people that I want to introduce this to, especially for people who are doing events or conferences and things like that. And I wanted to say thank you so much for your
Oh,
time.
well, actually, before you do that, Kelly, there's one other thing I just want everyone to know. So, in 3 phone calls this morning, I've already like matched people to collaborate. I'll give you an example. So the guy with the ice cream, he sells THC ice cream and he's doing tours with artists. I said, his name is Ian. I said, Ian, you ought to meet Rob. He's one of our other partners. He distributes for 1,000 artists. What if his 1,000 artists started doing ice cream tours, like had your ice cream on their tour, like you're doing for the other people?
Right.
Equally, so yesterday I met the lady, she was Jen Welter, her name is Gridiron Girls. She's like a trainer for Gridiron. Gridiron's American football, as you know. And I think about her and I think about your network, and I'm like, maybe, all these women athletes. I don't know. I don't know if there's a
Yeah,
tie-up, but Sundance Film Festival, we've got partners for that. So like I feel like if you get on my platform, you guys, you will be discoverable, your user profile. If you want to, we're going to convert some people over to these partner pages, but the idea is that you will be able to, kind of grow your own brand
yeah,
through Bubbl, because the idea is that we're going to surface you. We've got in our user profile, if you want to be part of Callie's community, identify that way and join her community, it'll show that if you want to show that. So anyway,
right.
that's kind of like the way we can all grow together.
Awesome. So I wanted to say thanks for your time today. Thanks for taking this time to do this intro and interview with me. I'm going to actually just bring up my screen so everybody that's watching this can actually sign up and get their own links for Bubbl. So I'll give you guys a couple minutes to actually scan this QR code for anybody that has watched this video that is looking to participate with us. Here's my direct referral link so you can join us. I will be creating my community and all of our events through Bubbl alongside of our event coordinator. And we plan on hosting our first Bubbl at the end of September. So anybody that wants to participate, now is a good time to get into the room. We're actually going to be going through Bubbl and actually booking the venue and starting to build our 4 major conferences a year. Plus, we are expanding into the US. So now is the time to join. Scan this, take a screenshot, whatever you need to do. If you're watching this and you can't scan this right now, reach out to me. I'm happy to send you the referral link. And if you have any key leaders that also are entrepreneurs, or if you are looking to create a Bubbl, or for your team, if you want to do a nice, appreciation day, or go on a trip or a leadership trip, or, create your own retreats, please get in contact with me. We're literally locking arms, me and Hayley, to make some magic happen for our entire communities. And I hope to see you in our next Bubbl.
Yeah, perfect. Amazing. And
Awesome.
one last thing I just say is that, like, at the end of the day, like, but I used to work for Virgin for Richard Branson. Bubbl is all about fun and freedom and serendipity, all the cool things, glass full, all that. Like at the end of the day, I really hope that people can have fun on Bubbl, and that's the idea of it. Have fun, meet cool people, have a
Yes,
good time, be safe. Yeah.
I'm excited. And
Yeah.
yes, I'm excited. Stay tuned for more information. We're also going to put Bubbl up on our platform, and this interview will also be there so you can go and watch it, grab your referral links, and start creating your own bubbles as well. So I'm really excited.
Amazing.
Thank you, Hayley, so much for your time
Thank
today.
you.
And
Thank you.
this recording will be available on our YouTube later
And
on.
by the way, I'm going to be interviewing Callie on our Let's Bubble podcast, because I have a podcast as well, on Apple and Spotify, and we'll have to set that up. So we'll have to share that with your network too, because I'm excited to learn your
Absolutely.
story. That's where we tell your story. We
Absolutely.
tell your story on our platform. Thanks a lot,
Awesome.
Callie. Thanks,
Thank you
everyone.
so
Thank
much. Have a great day.
you.
Bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye.